Hi everybody, I'm Nora and you're watching Nori Lori's Keto and Health. Today I'm bringing you a recipe on keto chocolate crinkle cookies. Another favorite for Christmas. Here's the hang up. This is not a true and tried recipe for me. I've never made them. So it's going to be one of those reviews where we're going to score them. So let's get started with this and let's get making these cookies. Alright, so we are going to make this recipe exactly like how the recipe is made. I would have started with my dry ingredients first, but in this recipe they start with their wet. So let's get started. We're going to start with our cocoa. Okay, and then our sugar is next. Okay, so we're going to add our oil and our vanilla. We're going to add our first egg. And we're going to start mixing this in. So I mixed it until it smoothed out. I thought it would be a little more liquidy, but it's not. But that's the way the recipe calls for. So now we're going to set this to the side, and we're going to mix our dry ingredients. So now we're going to put in our almond flour, our baking powder, and our salt. I'm going to give this a good whisk together and kind of mix it up and then evenly incorporate it. So now the recipe says that we add these together and mix them together and knead them until it comes into a nice dough. And again, a lot with these recipes, you just don't want to overwork them. So now that it's basically all come together now, I'm just going to get this off my fingers first. Okay, you've seen as I was kneading it, it got all over me. So obviously, this dough needs to chill a little bit so that you can work with it a little bit more. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to transfer it to a smaller bowl here. And I'm going to put some saran wrap on this. We're going to go ahead and chill it. The recipe says for at least 4 hours or overnight. So we're going to do at least 4 hours. And I will be back. Alright, so it's been 4 hours that this has been chilling. Well, it's a lot more firmer. So at this point, we want to go ahead and preheat our oven to 350 degrees. And this recipe is supposed to make 24 1-inch balls. What I got here is my cookie scoop. I'm just going to use that, and we're going to see how much we can get out of that. Oh, it is a little bit on the stiff side. So if this was a normal chocolate crinkle cookie, these would bake down and crack on their own. But this is keto, so maybe it's the almond flour, I'm not sure. But they say that we need to go ahead and take the palm of our hand and mash them down, because they're not going to crinkle on their own. So let's go ahead and get this. All right, so as soon as this oven is preheated, it's going to go in the oven for about 10 minutes, and we'll be back in 10 minutes. All right, so they are out. They've been in just a little bit longer than 10 minutes. They just didn't seem they were quite done. So let's see here. I'm going to go ahead and put them on my cooling wire rack. Yeah, they seem to be coming off okay. So the name of the game here now is they need to cool down just a little bit. They can't be hot, but they still need to be warm. And then we're going to put them in our powdered sugar. So we're going to see about how long it takes for them to cool down where we can put them in the powdered sugar. We'll be back. Alright, so it's been almost the 10 minutes. And I am just going to put some of this powdered swerve in here. I'm not putting a lot in here because, well, I don't want to use more than what I have to. And so we're just going to dip the cookies into them and get them covered. Alright, so here's that finished product of these keto chocolate crinkle cookies. The recipe said it would give us 24. I got 22. That's close enough. And the carbs on these are like 0.7. I'm just going to round up to 1 carb per cookie. So we are on to the next part, which is the taste test and the review to see if this is going to become a new Christmas favorite for my family. All right, we're back to the last part. This is where we're going to go over the product, give it that score with a score up to 20 points, depending on how well it does. I score this on 4 criteria. But before we get into this, we need to give all the credit to the original creator, which was thehungryinspiration.com. I'll put that link up here for you so that you can go and see them if you choose to make this recipe. All right, let's get started. My first criteria is how easy is it to get the ingredients. This recipe was very easy to get all the ingredients. I was able to get it at my local Walmart. I didn't have to order anything, so 5. Getting 5 there. My second criteria is how long is that ingredient list? It's not the longest list I've ever seen. It's more like between medium to low, but it wasn't the smallest list, so I am giving it a 4. My third criteria is how hard is it to duplicate that recipe? It wasn't relatively hard. I just had to use different utensils than what they did or stated in the recipe, so I'm giving it a 4. Now, my fourth criteria is how did my version of the recipe come to the creators, like the pictures? Like, does it come close to the pictures? And does it taste or perform like the recipe that it says it's going to? Before I can rate that, I actually have to kind of start my taste test, because in the original recipe, it says it's supposed to be hard on the outside, but like slightly moist, chewy on the inside. So before I can give that score, I've got to taste this. Okay. I'm going to give it a 4. It, with my bite, was absolutely crunchy on the outside, but moister on the inside. So that part, it did. It didn't crinkle up quite like the pictures on the recipe showed. I chilled it for as long as it says it needed to. Maybe it needed to be a little bit more chilled. I don't know. So we're giving it a 4. So that is going to be a score of 17. That's not a bad score for this. So let me give you my final thoughts. I'm going to do another little taste here. It does kind of taste or feel kind of nutty. I mean, it's made with almond flour, and I think it's some of that crunch that's in it. Very chocolatey. I thought there was a lot of sugar going into it, but it's actually not too sweet. Even with the confectioner sugar around the outside, it's not too sweet. I like these. They performed very well, just like the recipe said, and I think I'm going to be making these for my Christmas this year. So I'll be doing a video showing the spread of my Christmas, so you probably will be seeing these showing up. So I hope you enjoyed this review, and y'all stay safe and warm during this cold weather until my next video. Bye, everybody.